Life is short, and spending 40 plus hours a week on a job that you're not fully happy with will be a detriment to your overall well being in the long term, and it is important to recognize when it's time to move on. Don't get me wrong, every job has its ups and downs, but it is important to know when the negatives consistently outweigh the positives. So at that point, you can strongly consider looking at other options. To help you with this, here are 5 common signs that it's time to quit your job. The first is being in a toxic work environment. A toxic work environment can take on many forms, such as a culture of micromanagement, lack of communication, or harassment. If you're constantly dealing with negativity, criticism, and conflict, it can be emotionally and physically draining, affecting your health in a number of ways. It can cause stress and anxiety because if you're constantly worried about dealing with negative people or situations, it can take a toll on your mental health. Decreased job satisfaction. If your work environment is toxic, you're less likely to feel satisfied about your job. This can lead to a lack of motivation or decreased productivity. Burnout. Dealing with a toxic work environment day in and day out can be exhausting, which can lead to burnout, causing you physical and mental fatigue. Leading to my next point, how a toxic work environment can cause physical health problems. The constant stress and tension of a toxic work environment can cause muscle tension and affect your immune system, making you more susceptible to illness. And finally, a toxic work environment can have a negative effect on your personal relationships. It's easier said than done when people suggest that you do not take your work problems with you into your personal life. But by constantly being exposed to a toxic work environment, you may find it harder to connect with loved ones or have the energy to socialize outside of work. The next sign that it's time to quit your job is that you're feeling underpaid. Feeling underpaid can be frustrating and demotivating, particularly if you're not being fairly compensated for your skills, experience, or job responsibilities. It can feel difficult to feel valuated, and motivated to perform well in your job if you do not feel that you've been compensated appropriately. Here are a few ways you can tell if you're currently underpaid at your job. Do your research. Check job postings and other online resources to see what other companies are offering in regards to compensation for similar roles that require your skill level and experience. Evaluate your standing in the company. If you have constantly received high praise, good performance reviews, and in turn have an increased workload where you take on more responsibility, but your compensation hasn't matched the increased workload and the excellent performance reviews, then it may be time to discuss your compensation package with your manager. And finally, the cost of living. If you feel that your salary is not going as far as it used to, due to the rising cost of living and inflation, it may be time to start looking for another job and get more pay. The third reason why it's time to quit your job is poor work life balance. Maintaining a healthy work life balance is essential to your overall well being. And if your job is taking too much time and energy, it can be challenging to find that balance. If you're constantly working long hours, working on weekends, or don't have time for your own personal activities, it can lead to burnout and negatively affect your relationships outside of work. It's important to prioritize your health and well being and find a job that allows you to maintain a healthy work life balance. So, if you feel that in your current job you are being overworked and have a poor work life balance, it's essential to talk to your manager on how to improve your well being, in turn, also improve your productivity. So, once you schedule a meeting with your manager to discuss this, here are 4 steps to ensure that you'll be heard. The first is plan ahead. Before the meeting, prepare a list of specific tasks and projects that are causing you to feel overworked. This can help you communicate your concerns clearly and effectively during the meeting. Suggest solutions. As I always say, never present a problem to your manager without offering a solution. So once you highlight your issue and problem, provide possible solutions to your manager to alleviate your workload. This can include delegating tasks, adjusting deadlines, or restructuring your workload. Once you provide your suggestions, be open to feedback. They may have insights or their own suggestions that can help you manage your workload more effectively. And then finally, follow up with your manager after the meeting to ensure that any solutions or changes discussed are being implemented. This can help you feel more supported and reduce your stress levels. There's only so much you can do, and even by taking this proactive approach, if a few weeks have passed and you don't feel anything has changed, it's time to start looking for another job, as they aren't respecting your wishes or taking you seriously. The fourth sign that it's time to quit your job is a lack of growth opportunities. Feeling like you're not learning or growing in your role can be a demotivating experience and can make it challenging to stay motivated and engage in your job. This can also make you feel stagnant in your career. So at this point, it could be time to consider looking for a new job that offers you more opportunities for growth and development. Now, if you like the company that you work for and you have been proactive in talking to your manager on how you can deliver more value, take on more responsibility to help you get promoted in the future, they may give you lip service and lead you on so you end up staying so they don't have to spend all that time and money to replace you. So here's a few ways you can tell that you're being led on and that promotion is not in the cards for you. Vague promises. If your manager has been making vague promises about your promotion without any specific details, That may indicate that you have been led on. No action plan. If there is no clear plan or timeline for your promotion, and your manager is not giving you any specific tasks or projects to build up your skill set in order to get promoted, this can be also a sign that you've been led on. Lack of feedback. If your manager is not providing you with constructive feedback or is not sharing any specific areas of improvement that you need to work on to get promoted, this is definitely a bad sign. And then the most obvious sign that you're not going to get promoted at this company is that other people are being promoted before you, especially if they haven't been there as long as you. And finally, the fifth sign that it's time to quit your job is misaligned values. When your job doesn't align with your values and personal goals, it can be challenging to feel fulfilled and satisfied in your job. Feeling like you're not contributing to something meaningful or making a difference in the world can feel demotivating and can impact your overall well-being. It's important to evaluate whether your current job is aligned with your personal values and goals, and if it isn't, you should consider finding a job that offers more of that alignment. I want to stress that it's perfectly normal to have your values and goals change over time, as when you progress through different stages of life, your priorities will change, leading to a shift in your values and goals. For example, in your 20s, you may be driven to work at a startup where you have the opportunity to create something big and meaningful that has significant impact. However, as you enter your 30s and start to consider raising a family, you may want to seek more stability in your career. And unfortunately, startups cannot provide that stability. In such cases, a Fortune 500 company may offer the security and stability you are looking for when it's time to raise a family. Recognizing these 5 signs when it's time to quit your job can help you make an informed decision about whether it's truly time to quit your job and move on to new opportunities. Remember, prioritizing your personal and professional goals is essential to having a fulfilling career. If you found this content helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for watching. For more content on careers, job search, and self-improvement, make sure to hit that subscribe button.